This is an All Ears English podcast, episode 562, the 4 phrases you need to get to know the locals. Welcome to the All Ears English podcast, downloaded more than 16 million times. We believe in connection, not perfection, with your American hosts, Lindsay McMahon, the English adventurer, and Michelle Kaplan, the New York radio girl, coming to you from Boston and New York City, USA. And to instantly download your transcript from today's episode, go to allearsenglish.com/transcripts. allearsenglish.com/transcripts. Sometimes you end up in a cool place where you have a unique opportunity to get to know the locals. But how do you start off the conversation? And how do you move it along to get to know them better? Find out today. Hey, Michelle, what's happening?
Hey, Lindsay, not too much. How are you?
I'm doing good. I mean, I wanted to talk about an experience I had a while back, which was very cool. I had a chance to go to this magical place called Block Island. Do you know where it is?
No.
Yeah, it's in Rhode Island. I mean, you've heard of Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's the same kind of like, it's a vacation island like those, but it's much less, like yuppie than those islands. Like those islands are kind of yuppie-ish, you know, they're kind of like, kind of fancy, lots of shopping, kind of high society, but Block Island is much more laid back. It was actually, I think that it was nominated or it was labeled, as one of the 12 last great places in the Western Hemisphere by Nature Conservancy. Yeah. So about 40% of this island is set aside for conservation. So it's a lot of natural space, just beautiful hills and farmland, and it's just really cool. It's one of my favorite places.
Oh, cool. I want to go.
Yeah, but I made a bit of a mistake when I was planning the trip, Michelle.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Well, I didn't realize that 95% of the island would be shut down because it was before the tourist season.
Oh,
it was before Memorial Day. It was like in like middle of May. So literally like 95% of the island was shuttered.
Oh gosh. Oh no, that's too bad.
Yeah. So we couldn't find a place to get a coffee. The grocery store was closed at most hours.
Wow.
So the island, there's about 1,000 people that live on the island. It's 9 square miles and there was only about 4 or 5 restaurants open.
Oh, no, that's too bad.
So that was kind of stupid of me to do that, but
No.
I planned it and I had a bit of a brain fart. You know, I didn't think about that. I should have thought about that, but that presented a very cool experience, a very cool opportunity for us.
Okay. So yeah, I'm excited to hear.
Well, the thing that happens when you go to a place like Block Island in the off season is that you are rubbing elbows, literally and physically, figuratively and literally with the locals because you're in the bar and the locals are right next to you. Whereas if we had gone to Block Island in the middle of July, we would be rubbing elbows with people from Long Island, right?
Right.
Or from New York City or from Boston or other cities. And so actually the fact that I made that mistake was kind of a blessing because we had some very cool opportunities. And I wanted to do today's episode as an opportunity for our listeners. If they're in this situation, you know, how do you capitalize on that opportunity?
Oh, I love that. That's so cool. What an interesting opportunity.
Such a cool opportunity. I mean, has this ever happened to you before where you find yourself in a very local place with the locals and there's nothing between you and the locals because there are no annoying tourists?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know. Yeah. I've definitely, I mean, it reminds me if I don't know. I have friends from other places where, I don't know, I guess I was studying abroad in London and I remember, you know, I had some friends, there who were from London and I went over to their family's house and things like that. So I guess those situations gave me a chance to really, have a good informative discussion.
I mean, it's really fun when that happens and you realize what it's like to live in such a small place. If you think about it, this Block Island here was, only about 1,000 people live on the island and probably in the winter. And so we're in the bar one night and the bartender was asking us like where we're staying on the island. And we thought we were talking just to the bartender, but we turned around and the whole bar was listening to the conversation and commenting.
Yeah.
the whole bar of locals. It was so funny. So this is such a cool opportunity, guys, for you guys, especially if you're traveling in the US or the UK. You want to, if you're in this situation, we want to help you to capitalize, work on your English, learn about the locals, build some connections. Okay. So Let's get to it, Michelle. Let's do it. So we're going to give you guys a few phrases that you can use to start that conversation and to move it forward.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay. So what's the first one, Michelle, that we could say if we're there at the bar or we're at a restaurant or coffee shop and, hey, it's just you and the locals. What are you going to say?
Yeah. Well, you could just say something like, oh, so what's it like to live here during, whatever time? So like, oh, what's it like to live here during the fall, right? Or in the fall or something like that.
Yeah. Or during the off season.
During the off season, right.
The non-summer season, right? When no tourists are there. What's it like to live here during the high season, which is the summer in this case, right?
Right, right.
Yeah. So what's it like to live here is really the phrase. What's it like? What's it like? That's a very natural phrase. Don't you think, Michelle?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I like it. It's just really leaving it open for someone to take it however they want. So I like that.
Right.
What else? What else could we say?
You could say, what do local people do here on the weekend?
Yeah, or just what do people do is fine. But if you say local people,
or the locals.
Yeah, exactly. What do the locals do here on the weekend? Exactly. And then I like the next one. We can start our phrase by saying, if you're curious about the lifestyle, we can say, do people usually, and then you finish it, right? Do people usually eat, take the ferry to the mainland every week? Or do people usually eat at locals only restaurants, right? Because if you're a local, do you avoid the touristy spots or do you, those are things that we were curious about.
Right. No, those are great questions. I love that. Even I'm thinking I went to Amsterdam last year and we met up with a friend of a friend and got to ask him a lot of these kinds of questions. And it's just different than if you're just seeing, I like to know what is it really like to live somewhere,
Yeah, exactly. And this is why I would really encourage you guys, if you're visiting the US, get out of the tour group. Don't go in groups like 20, 50 people from your own country.
Right.
I know it's easier. It's probably cheaper and you might understand more in the tours, but maybe just try to find a little time to go off just on your own or with a travel partner and try to get in there. Cause what is the point of traveling? Right. I guess it depends on your goal.
Right.
But so, okay, let's keep going. So the first three phrases were good opening phrases. Now we can go a little bit deeper, Michelle. We can get a little more personal.
Okay.
We at first, I think we should avoid being personal because we want to open the person up a bit.
Right. Exactly. So you just want to ask more general questions
in the beginning about the people, right? This time we're asking about this particular person, right? So now we're saying, oh, well, how long have you lived here?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So why did I put the emphasis on you?
Because it's you specifically.
Yeah. Because before that, we were talking about people, locals. Do the people usually or do locals usually? And now I'm going to turn around and say, what about you, right? How long have you lived here?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, good. And what else could you say?
You could say, how do you like it?
Exactly. How do you like it? Very open. It's not saying, do you like it? Because that's kind of a yes or no answer.
Right.
But that's kind of interesting, isn't it? If you change it to how do you like it, it's more open-ended.
Right. Exactly. No, I think that's good because just do you like it? I can just be like, yes or no. How do you like it? The person can still just say, oh, I like it. Or they could say, not so much. But I think there's more of a chance that they're going to open up and give you a better answer.
I think so. A little bit more. Yeah. Or they might give you more to work with for your next question.
Yeah.
Of course, we always want to be paying attention. Like, does the person want to continue talking to us or not? Right. We're going to take the body cues and nonverbal cues. In this sense, at the bar on Saturday, the locals were interested in us. Like, they were asking me about where I lived in New York when I lived there. One of them had lived in New York before. You know, we were asking each other questions. So clearly it was engaging, but I think our listeners know that. That's more of a social cues thing.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
The best way to learn as much as you can from today's episode is to grab the transcripts. Go over to allearsenglish.com/transcripts and then use this episode with your English teacher or native conversation partner. Go to allearsenglish.com/transcripts.
So let's do a situation here. In this situation, Michelle, we are at a local bar on Block Island.
Okay.
Which by the way, guys, I would recommend this to anyone if you, especially in the off season, but if, well, you know, early May maybe is good, or maybe the fall. But if you have a chance, like check out Block Island. It is so or maybe a summer weekday would be the best because, you know, summer weekends I would probably avoid. It's probably just a zoo. But if you go on like a Tuesday in July, you might have a really cool experience.
I'm thinking I would really like to go. I just looked up how far away it is from me. So I'm like, you're really selling it, Lindsay.
Well, the thing is, Michelle, I think you should go because you can actually get a ferry from Long Island.
Really?
It's actually it's very close to Long Island. Like we took the ferry from Rhode Island, but Long Island, which is part of New York State, you can probably take the train out to Long Island and get a ferry from there.
Oh, okay. I'm going to look more into this. I'll let you know.
You definitely should. Like, I would love to hear about your experience. If you go for a weekend or a couple days.
Yeah, that seems like so much fun.
Yeah, check it out. So anyways, here we go. So I'm going to be a local and I'm also the bartender here.
Okay.
I'm a local bartender serving you drinks. And Michelle, you are visiting from New York.
Okay.
All right. So here we go. You walk into the bar. So, hey, what can I get you?
Oh, I'll have your IPA on tap.
Great. Here you go.
Thanks.
So now we're going to have a few minutes of silence, drinking in silence, which is always what happens.
Glug, glug, glug.
Glug, 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 glug. And I'm washing dishes.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to start the conversation again. So you in town just for the weekend?
Yeah, it's funny. I'm in from New York City for the weekend. I didn't think everything would be so closed up, but it's still beautiful here.
First time here?
Yeah, I love it. So what's it like to live here during the off season?
Oh, well, you only have about 700 people on the island, so it's a tight-knit group.
Yeah? Do people usually take the ferry to the mainland every week or every day?
Yeah, I go on Wednesday. What about you, Joe? And Joe over here says, can you be Joe, Michelle?
Okay. Yeah, something like that. How long have you lived here?
Oh, my family's been here for generations. So where are you headed tomorrow on the island?
I'd like to see more of the natural habitat.
Great. Here's an idea. Then and that's kind of the cool thing about starting. One of the benefits of starting these conversations is now the locals are going to tell you something.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we learned from one of the locals is that there was a beached whale, a beached baby humpback whale, and we actually found it the next day. So that was super cool. A cool opportunity for us to go see a beached whale, that we never would have known about.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. Do you have pictures?
Yeah, we're going to talk about it in one of the next episodes.
Oh, okay.
I can get a picture. It was we'll talk about that next time.
Okay.
Anyway, so let's go through this conversation to see what we used here. So,
okay.
So here, Michelle, what did you say to start the conversation?
Okay, let's see. So I said, what's it like to live here during the off season?
Yeah. So what's it like? What's it like? Very open-ended question. Okay.
And then I asked, do people usually take the ferry to the mainland every week or every day?
Good. And then later you got personal, right? After you got a few responses from the locals, you got personal. I said, how long have you lived here?
Right. Yeah. Once Joe got in there, I felt much more comfortable.
Joe got in. Joe. There's always a local named Joe, right?
Of course. Yeah. So then I said, how long have you lived here? Perfect.
Yeah. I also want to add one bonus here. Actually, I was the one who started the conversation and I said, you in town just for the weekend? So that's also interesting because what did I drop here?
R.
Are you, right? Are, exactly, are. So textbook, guys, your textbook would say, are you in town just for the weekend? But the local bartender probably would say, you in town just for the weekend, right? So we're showing you guys how local English is often not the same as what you find in your English class, okay?
Right.
So just be ready. Don't be thrown off by that. Be ready for it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So what's the takeaway from today, Michelle?
The takeaway is like that you guys should try and do this. Maybe find a place that's similar to Block Island or, a cool place that is really popular during a certain season and go there when it's not that season, right? Go during the off season, right?
Yeah, don't be afraid.
Yeah, because you could go just before it opens for the summer because it could be a really great chance to speak English and meet the locals.
Exactly. Especially if your goal is to get fluent in English, guys, you're not going to get fluent by going to places like Disney World or Times Square in New York where everyone's from another place. You're going to get fluent by going to places like Block Island on a Tuesday in May before the big season opens, things like that. And I think just for me, like the coolest experiences I've had traveling have been things like this. I just have a really cool memory from Go ahead.
No, that's great. I mean, I think that's so cool. I mean, I'd love to do more things like this. I mean, because, the locals, it's, it might be harder to find them during the summer season or during, the busy season in that area because, they might be hiding from the tourists.
Exactly. That's the whole point, right? That's the point of this episode. I think the locals might be a little skittish and if, they probably scurry off into their local corners during the busy season to get away from the tourists. I don't blame them. Tourists can be really annoying.
Right.
So they go into this local bar that you don't know about, or they stay in their houses, or they just go to their own spots, and you'll never come across them. Even if you do, they probably won't start a conversation with you because it's just that sense of anonymity that's going on, and nobody. Exactly. Yeah. More people equals more anonymity. So do it, guys. This is a cool way to learn English. So check it out.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm excited to go to Block Island for sure.
You definitely, I think, Michelle, grab a Wednesday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Wednesday this summer and go. Definitely check it out. I recommend it.
That'd be great. That would be great. Thanks for the tip, Lindsay.
Very awesome, Michelle. Take care. Talk to you soon.
Okay, bye. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thanks so much for listening to All Ears English. And if you need a 7 or higher on your IELTS exam to achieve your life vision, then our Insider Method can get you there. Start with our free video series masterclass. Get video 1 now at allearsenglish.com/INSIDER. And if you believe in connection, not perfection, then subscribe to our show on your phone or on your computer. See you next time.